They thought he was just another old man, until the moment the door swung open and every breath in that diner froze. By then it was too late for the boys who thought humiliation was a game. The coffee shop was loud with morning chatter, sunlight spilling across checkerboard floors, and the smell of fresh brew drifting like a warm blanket. But at the center booth, tension coiled like a wire pulled too tight. Two teenage boys hovered over an elderly man in a crisp navy dress uniform, their laughter sharp enough to cut the air. One raised a steaming mug, smirking as he tilted it forward. The other pointed, egging him on. And before anyone could react, hot coffee cascaded across the veteran's chest. The old man didn't stand, didn't shout, didn't even lift a shaking hand to wipe the burning liquid from his face. He simply lowered his eyes, jaw clenched, absorbing the humiliation as if he'd endured far worse. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The teenagers roared with laughter, oblivious to the way the diner's energy shifted, how the waitress froze mid-step, how an elderly couple at the corner booth looked away, ashamed, how the sunlight seemed to dim for just a moment. The veteran swallowed hard, tasting the bitterness of shame more than the coffee dripping onto the table. He whispered something under his breath, too soft for them to hear. A name, perhaps a memory, perhaps a promise. And then the bell above the diner door chimed. 4 Marines stepped inside, not in a hurry, not in panic, but with the calm, unyielding presence of men who had seen enough of the world's darkness to recognize it instantly. Their boots thudded softly against the floor. Conversations died mid-sentence. The air thickened, almost humming. Even the teenagers stopped laughing as the Marine's eyes fell upon the soaking, trembling veteran. They recognized the uniform before they recognized the man. His medals told stories. His rank told history. His posture, even in pain, told the truth. The oldest Marine stepped forward first, removing his sunglasses. His expression shifted, confusion turning into shock, then into something deeper, something reverent. He knew him, and suddenly the entire diner leaned in. The teenagers' smirks faltered. One tried to slip his mug behind his back, as if the Marines hadn't already seen everything. The Marine leader's voice was low, but carried through every corner of the room. "Sir, is that you?" The old man lifted his eyes, painful, exhausted, but steady. The Marine snapped into a crisp salute, a salute so sharp and so sudden that the teenagers flinched as if struck. The other Marines followed, their movements synchronized, boots clicking together, hands rising with practiced precision. The diner fell silent, a silence thick with awe. The boys' faces drained of color. And then the Marine leader turned his gaze on them. The teens shrinking under the weight of a stare, forged through deployments, deserts and battlefields. "What did you do to him?" he asked. But it wasn't a question, it was a judgment. One boy stammered. The other swallowed hard, eyes darting toward the door. But there was no escape from the truth hanging in that sunlit diner. The Marine stepped aside and gently placed a hand on the veteran's shoulder. "Sir, allow us." He motioned to a server and to the stunned crowd. Napkins appeared. Water. Fresh clothes someone ran to get from the back. The entire diner shifted. Strangers who moments ago looked away now rallied around him, united by instinctive respect. The teenagers stood frozen, trembling, not from fear of punishment, but from the sudden realization of who they had tried to break. The veteran finally spoke, voice low and gravelly. "Boys, the world gives you chances to be better. Don't waste them." It wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was something far heavier, mercy. And mercy in that moment hit harder than any punishment ever could. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes, it walks through the door wearing boots and saluting a man the world forgot. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Your support means the world.